Marie Osmond's life is far from the fairy tale many envision. Beneath the glamorous surface lies a saga of shocking struggles and heartbreaking losses that have tested her strength. In this revealing video, we'll uncover the devastating truths that have shaped her journey and explore how she's bravely faced these challenges. You won't believe what she's overcome. Stay tuned until the end for an inspiring tale that will leave you speechless. The Osmonds, the family legacy. The narrative of Donnie and Marie Osmond starts with the extraordinary ascent of their family to popularity. Their older brothers, Alan, Wayne, Merrill, and Jay, initially took the stage and would thereafter be known as the Osmond brothers before Donnie and Marie became household names. Though they were only a group of young lads from North Ogden, Utah, their local church, and soon enough, the entire globe were drawn to their knack for four-part harmonies. It all began in the most modest surroundings, a little church gathering house. Nine-child proud parents, George and Olive Osmond, brought strong faith and music into their household. George was a postal worker. Olive, a gifted musician, coached her children in singing. Two of the oldest children in the family, Verl and Tom, were born with extreme hearing problems, thereby presenting some early difficulties. Still, George and Olive thought their boys were unique and chose to share that with the world. George, a counselor in the nearby church, had his boys present for a sacrament meeting one Sunday. Barely out of nappies, Alan, Wayne, Merrill, and Small J sung a hymn that moved the assembly. That performance signaled the start of something far more than anybody could have dreamed. Always the tenacious father, George began arranging singing events for his sons. It was originally family activities, local religious groups, and little gatherings. Olive tuned the boys' harmonies at home, coaching them. For the family, $200 for a performance at a local festival in Salt Lake City was a sizable break. The Osmond brothers were gathering momentum, but their life changed dramatically only when local TV broadcaster Eugene Jalesnik paid them attention. Jalesnik urged the family to travel to Hollywood in search of a performance on the well-known TV show Lawrence Welk. George so loaded his sons into the family camper and drove them all to Los Angeles. Hollywood was not about to unveil the red carpet yet, though. They were stood up after spending all day outside Welk's office. Disappointed but not demoralized, fate gave the Osmonds a lifeline when they crossed paths with the then-popular group, the Lennon Sisters. They managed to perform at a boxing match through this unexpected meeting, although the audience was more fascinated in the fight than the music. Their performance at Disneyland produced the actual breakthrough. Disneyland's entertainment director heard their harmonies, and soon they were invited to perform on a TV show broadcast throughout the country called Disneyland After Dark. Jay Williams, the father of Andy Williams, saw the lads and got them on the Andy Williams Show. Alan, Wayne, Merrill, and Jay debuted on national TV on December 13, 1962. Everything changed. The Osmonds moved to California to pursue music full-time after their sudden notoriety. Along with touring the globe and collaborating with some of the biggest names in entertainment, they began compiling records. They were accompanying icons like Elvis Presley, Bob Hope, and Sammy Davis Jr. from Las Vegas to London. Particularly after Donnie joined the group and brought even more star power, the Osmonds became teen idols with their tidy image and appealing songs. One Bad Apple, their first #1 smash, shot them to the top of the charts. Benevolent behind all the flash and gloss was the close-knit family anchored in their Mormon beliefs. After the family performed at Buckingham Palace, Olive was always close and ready to distribute a Book of Mormon to everyone she could, including Queen Elizabeth II herself. The Osmonds were omnipresent when their glory peaked in the 1970s. Their top 100 hit count exceeded those of the Jackson 5 and even the Rolling Stones. At their concerts, teenage girls shrieked, they mobbed their limos, occasionally slipped into their hotels. The patriarch, George Osmond, oversaw the commercial side of affairs and maintained rigorous discipline all around. The brothers gained the moniker One Take Osmonds on the Andy Williams stage for their reputation for professionalism, internal struggles, and shifting roles. The fall of Alan, Wayne, Merrill, and Jay Osmond began inside the family itself rather than overnight. As outside demands and internal conflicts started to mount up, things become more difficult. Marie and Donnie were fast rising to be the show's stars. By the middle of the 1970s, the emphasis had changed, and ABC took a risk. The network chose to grant Donnie and Marie their own TV show in 1975, therefore avoiding the older Osmond brothers. The boys could have had a chance to spread out on their own, but their father, George Osmond, made a major call. He determined that behind the scenes the entire family would still be active. The Donnie and Marie show appointed Alan, Wayne, Merrill, and Jay executive directors. Still, they would only sporadically show on TV, with their younger siblings taking front stage most of the time. George orchestrated a huge deal to keep things closer to home instead of filming the show in Hollywood. The family erected a 100,000 square foot Orem, Utah studio. Hollywood suddenly started to approach them. They established an entire family hub on what became known as Osmond Lane, not only a studio, but also built their residences there. Late in the 1970s, the Osmonds were rolling in riches at the height of their popularity. Between $70 and $100 million, they possessed mansions, condos in Los Angeles, a ranch outside Ogden, Utah, and even an apartment building across from BYU in Provo. Still making money from record sales, they were involved in all kinds of commercial endeavors, from real estate to endorsements. But prosperity came with some bad commercial judgment calls. Fast-paced development of the Osmonds drew some dubious individuals, including business partners caught in jail for embezzlement and fraud. To gain the family's confidence, one individual even passed like a Mormon, then misled them out of millions. Things had gone south, fast by 1983. The Osmonds owed a lot of money, and bankruptcy looked like their only option. George Osmond, meantime, was not at all like that. He insisted the family will pay him every last dollar owing. They sold almost everything to accomplish this: their house, the studio vehicles, even the apartments. When that still proved insufficient, George sent the family back on the road. The Osmonds came back to perform their way out of debt. Alan, Wayne, Merrill, Jay were hustling. Donnie and Marie were still riding high. Their charm and youth kept them in the public view. Donnie especially saw his career flourish. The older brothers were working at smaller venues, county fairs, business gatherings, casinos. Their popularity had faded, but they could still attract a gathering. They continued to perform until every dollar was spent. The Osmonds struggled to stay current as music tastes changed. Grittier genres like punk, rock, and disco were taking the stage over their once popular family-friendly music. The brothers started traveling in various ways, and the family act started showing fractures by the late 1970s. As Alan, Wayne, Merrill, and Jay worked on their projects, Donnie's solo career exploded. The family stayed together for occasional special events, even though the original Osmond lineup finally called it quits. Though their legacy may have changed, they never actually left the stage. Donnie and Marie's solo success. While the Osmonds battled financially, Donnie and Marie's careers were flourishing. Just 5, Donnie first appeared on TV singing "You Are My Sunshine" on The Andy Williams Show back in 1963. As he grew older, his appeal and skill only rose. By 1971, his solo song "Go Away Little Girl," which topped the Billboard Hot 100, really brought him tremendous success. His boyish good looks and soft voice were much sought after by fans. Following were hits like "Puppy Love" and "Hey Girl, I Knew You When," thereby confirming his position at the forefront. But Donnie's career transcended those early successes. He startled everyone in the 1980s by showing up in Jeff Beck's "Ambitious" music video, and even made an appearance in Luis Cardenas's video for "Runaway." He continued on, contributing Dweezil Zappa's cover of "Stayin' Alive" voice. Donnie sang for movie soundtracks like Disney's Mulan, "I'll Make a Man Out of You," hosted game shows like Pyramid and The Great American Dream Vote, and even voiced animated characters in shows like Johnny Bravo and Mulan. Donnie also appeared in films including Goin' Coconuts and College Road Trip on top of all else. Featuring in the White and Nerdy music video, he also had some fun with Weird Al Yankovic. He competed on The Masked Singer in 2019 and subsequently became a celebrity panelist for I Can See Your Voice. Neither Broadway nor another was off limits either. Donnie replaced David Cassidy in a revival of the 1904 George Cohan production Little Johnny Jones, and established himself in musical theater during the 1990s. Over 2,000 performances, Joseph in Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat was one of his best roles. Following that, he starred Gaston in Disney's Beauty and the Beast on Broadway, thanks to great reviews prolonging his run. Donnie was developing as a solo sensation, and his sister Marie was also become well known. She, barely 14 years old, recorded a cover of Paper Roses, which shot to #1 on the country and mainstream charts. Marie became the youngest female artist ever to have a #1 country hit. Marie, unlike her brothers, stayed largely in country music and produced a run of singles, including 4 that topped the Billboard Hot Country Songs charts. She got #1 in 1985 and 1986 with tunes like Meet Me in Montana, There's No Stopping Your Heart, and You're Still New to Me. Although Marie had an outstanding solo career, she also paired up with Donnie, and together they became one of the most well-known couples on TV. For a week in 1974, they co-hosted The Mike Douglas Show. Fred Silverman noticed them and offered them their show. Beginning on ABC in 1976, the Donnie and Marie Show featured 18-year-old Donnie and 16-year-old Marie as the youngest TV hosts ever at the time. Right out of the gate, the show was a hit, mixing music, dance, humor, and guest stars in a variety show style. It debuted on January 23, 1976, and among younger viewers especially developed a devoted following very fast. Also very important behind the scenes was the Osmond family. The musical parts were handled by Donnie's older siblings. Their younger brother Jimmy showed up in sketches. Even their parents showed up sometimes. Production shifted from Los Angeles to Orem, Utah, where the family erected a large 104,000 square foot studio in 1977. The program had expanded to 90 minutes by 1978 and moved to a Sunday night slot, drawing major guest stars such as Cher, Bob Hope, and Elton John. But along with that success came stress. By the late 1970s, Donnie and Marie started to suffer from the continual pressure of being in the public eye. Donnie and Marie's careers continued to change even while their variety show was ending in 1979. They had become entertainment stars, and their skills went much beyond the family's early notoriety. They showed throughout that they could shine on their own, even as their family struggled financially. Struggles behind the scenes. During a period when things should have been at their finest, Donnie Osmond began having first episodes of anxiety. Marie Osmond was also privately fighting her issues while under pressure to live up to the glitzy Hollywood stars gracing their show. She thus descended a perilous path of self-starvation. Donnie discovered some personal pleasure in his relationship with Debbie Glenn as the focus grew more intense. Having devoted more than 10 years of his life to the show business profession of his family, he was ready to distance himself and lead his own life. After Donnie and Debbie tied the knot in May 1978, and with a baby on the way, he was ready to close the Donnie and Marie chapter and let the program naturally end in 1979. Marie, meantime, yearned for a fresh beginning. She relocated to New York City early in the 1980s, prepared to blaze her own trail. Rates had dropped by the time the show entered its 4th season in 1981. Desperate to salvage it, the creators turned the emphasis more towards music, cutting down the comedy. Sadly, it was insufficient. The ratings kept sliding. ABC cut off the Donnie and Marie show on January 16, 1981. The last episode ran exactly 5 years from its January 23, 1981 premiere. Later on, Donnie said he was sorry he lacked influence on the finale of the show. That medicine was difficult to swallow. But in classic Osmond style, The pair got back together for a fresh chapter between 1998 and 2000, staging a network talk show called Donnie and Marie. Though the show was finally canceled, their on-screen connection garnered them back-to-back Daytime Emmy Awards for Outstanding Talk Show Host. Marie discovered additional ways she might shine. She ran Marie and Friends on radio in 2004. Then, in 2007, she whirled her way into the hearts of millions on Dancing with the Stars. Not too long afterward, the Osmond siblings teamed up for what was supposed to be a 6-week engagement in Las Vegas. They had no idea, though, it would be an 11-year gig. Starting in September 2008, Donnie and Marie astonished guests at the Flamingo Hotel. A 90-minute performance included live band, 8 dancers, and lots of vitality. With solo performances in between, they sung together at the opening and closing of the concert. To honor their ongoing success, the Flamingo even renamed its theater Donnie and Marie Theater by 2014, with Donnie and Marie winning big at the Las Vegas Review-Journal's Best of Las Vegas in 2012, garnering honors like Best Concert, Best All-Around Performer, and Best Singer. The concert was rife with accolades. Donnie received still another Best Singer accolades in 2013. Though they were publicly successful, behind-the-scenes operations were not always flawless. Under the brilliant lights, life appeared simpler. Now, it was more confusing. The dark side of fame. For the Osmonds, fame cost something. Growing in public view, they missed out on a normal childhood and suffered from ongoing pressure to be ideal. Not just Donnie and Marie suffered. Every sibling felt the weight of it. Being performers, they began to lose touch with who they truly were, as they became so preoccupied with presenting a perfect picture. For Donnie, the pressure manifested in a non-always obvious manner. Benevolent under the smile and charm was social anxiety disorder. Though he never let it show, his anxiety of performing made him lightheaded and overwhelmed. Driven to live up to everyone's expectations, he persisted despite the worry. Similar difficulties braced the other brothers, Alan, Wayne, Merrill, Jay, and Jimmy. Although the family ran deep with social and performance anxiety, the show had to go on, so they did what they had to do. They continued on performing while fighting their inner conflicts. Marie, on the other hand, battled ongoing comparisons to other female celebrities, which made her self-conscious about her appearance. She descended a perilous path of eating disorders under great pressure to live up to a particular image. Driven to be perfect, she began starving herself in an attempt to fit into the expectations of others. Their path toward popularity was about striving to hang on to their actual selves in a society that required nothing but perfection, not about glittering lights and acclaim. Marie's shocking revelation. The Osmonds' openness about their hardships set up a tsunami of empathy, but Marie's shocking disclosure that really left the planet in stunned silence. Often known for her vivacious nature, nobody expected what she had been hiding. Marie had earlier written in her book, Behind the Smile, My Journey Out of Postpartum Depression, about her struggles with postpartum depression. She disclosed, however, during an interview, that she had experienced sexual assault while in public view as a worldwide pop sensation. The public saw her differently after this admission, since they had previously known her as the happy, all-American daughter next door. Marie said it wasn't a family member or close acquaintance, but she withheld the name of her attacker. In her book, she detailed her encounters, saying, "I was abused as a youngster and teen." It covered violations of privacy to physical abuse. She said her attacker had threatened her, causing anxiety about her family's and her own safety. Her therapeutic trip included writing the book. Marie spoke of her lifetime battle with self-worth. Even a world-class star finds it difficult to feel good enough. The demands of celebrity compounded her emotional problems. Marie developed resiliency in spite of her challenges, including the breakup of her marriage to Brian Blossel during her postpartum depression fight. She remarried and reconnected via their kid following years apart with her first husband, Steve Craig. The Osmonds keep performing today. The following generation carries on the family legacy. Marie is still a symbol of fortitude, She recently presented President George Bush at an inauguration ball. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Also, click on the next video that appears on your screen.